Welcome to Random Radio. I'm your host, David Bolander, and thanks for listening in. So today we actually have our second guest speaker, Catherine Bolander. And our topic today, as most things are this time of year, Christmas. And don't forget that any opinions shared on the show are just that, opinions, and no one on the show actually means to offend, despite what you might think. And with that out of the way, let's get on with the show. So one of the main things that I like about Christmas is the music. Honestly, it's one of the best parts of Christmas for me. What do you think about that, honestly?
I love Christmas music. I love that it's specific just for Christmas time. Retailers obviously think Christmas music should be played all year round so they can enhance their shopping and people buying stuff. But I think it is super special when we save it for the actual Christmas time. In my family, growing up, I wasn't even allowed to listen to Christmas music until Thanksgiving dinner was over. So
Yeah. That's one thing I really hate about popular Christmas, or Christmas in public, I guess, is that everybody thinks they can play it 24/7, and you can't. You can't unless you want a very mad audience.
Oh my gosh, I agree with you 100%. I mean, most places, retail places, don't typically start playing their Christmas stuff until October, which I think is kind of cheating because then you kind of skip over Halloween and Thanksgiving. And I know Halloween and Thanksgiving don't really have their own music per se, but I think it kind of takes away from the specialness of actual Christmas music and having it during Christmas.
Yeah, it does take away the specificness, I guess. It's like if you were to eat chocolate cake year round, you wouldn't like it anymore, or
Yeah,
you
it
wouldn't
wouldn't
think
be
of it as special.
special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'd like, for example, we have here and at my mom's house, we have home cooked meals almost every night, right? And so we don't view fast food anymore as special as it used to be when we went out, or we view fast food more specially than it did before when we went out to eat every night.
Yeah,
Right?
it's not special when you have it all the time.
Exactly. It's not special when you have it constantly. Yeah. Which actually segues us pretty nicely into our next point. The gifts of Christmas. The one thing that happens year round, or the one thing that doesn't happen year round, or that doesn't seem to for Christmas. Like, yeah, it does happen for like birthdays and stuff, but I mean,
We don't get gifts every single month of the year, so
Exactly.
gifts tend to be a lot more special during Christmas and birthdays. But I feel like it's a little bit more special for Christmas because it's more of, it's really focused on for Christmas because it is the gift-giving season.
yeah, and that's one thing I really like about Christmas is that it's all about giving. It's not about what you get, right? It's all about what you give. It's all about how much you give to people. At
For
least I think so.
for some people, it is about what you get.
Yeah, for some people. Yeah, especially younger kids, where they just think it's, oh, hey, I get presents all the time now. Or I get presents this one day of the year, right? And it's all based off of the presents for them, but, now that I'm older, I guess, I'm finally starting to understand, it's not all about the presents, it's about the people. I think, anyway. I think it's about the spirit and the people.
I agree with you. I absolutely love Christmas, and I feel like there are a lot of people who are like me, who actually love giving gifts. Everyone loves getting gifts, but I think the joy in the Christmas season is the time that I take out of my day to actually think of someone else and to give them a gift or to buy them a gift that I think will make them happy. And that's one of the things that I love about Christmas is Christmas morning, seeing the people that I love around me, opening those gifts that I got for them, knowing that I love and care about them through those gifts that I give them.
Yeah, it's all about how much effort you feel somebody put into you.
Yes.
It's like they took this much effort and this much time out of what they were doing so that they could put it into me.
Yep.
Right?
So they could actually think about someone else.
Yeah, it makes you feel really good and special inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. I feel like too many, I don't know if it's too many people or if it's just retail in general, but I feel like every holiday retail has to make it into a gift-giving holiday. Like Easter, growing up, I didn't get gifts for Easter, so I'm like, why are we giving gifts for Easter? Some people make Easter all about like giving gifts to each other like Christmas, but I feel like it should be Christmas and birthdays only because it makes it more special, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing I really like about the holidays, especially. And with that, let's actually move on to our commercial portion here. So, for those of you on YouTube, I'd love to hear some of your guys' family traditions for Christmas. I'd just love to hear that. Not to sound creepy, but I'd love to know a little bit more about you guys. Um, I'd also love it if you guys could subscribe. I don't mean to be like one of those really annoying YouTubers, but I'd urge you guys to subscribe or even like the video at least. It really helps out the channel. And moving on from that, back into Christmas, I've been trying recently to make Christmas more about more about the family rather than just about the presents or about music or just about me. At least I've been trying to this Christmas, is make it less so about the individual little things and make it about the thing that's really being celebrated, I think, or the thing that I really celebrate is the family.
See, I love that a lot because family is a big deal for me. Growing up, family was a huge part of my life, and I loved celebrating Christmas with my family. I had older siblings that were 11 plus years older than me, and it was always a big deal to have people come home for Christmas because, like David said, it's about the gifts and everything, but it's really about family and family time and being able to be together with those that you love.
Yeah, I know that in years past, whenever we go over to Grandma and Grandpa Bolander's, what usually ends up happening is somebody gets mad about something, right? And this is actually kind of tying into our last point. But somebody always gets mad about something somebody else did, and I just get so annoyed at that because this is one of like 2 or 3 times a year the whole family gets to be together in one place, and you decide to be mad about it, right? This is the one and only time of year you get to be together as a family, and for some reason somebody thinks, oh yeah, I should be mad about this. Maybe that's just me, but
no, I agree with you. You always have that one sibling or that one cousin or that one aunt or uncle that has to go and be a stink about something, and you're like, really?
yeah.
Like, it's Christmas time, let's be nice to each other. So no, I agree with you. There's always that one person that you're like, come on, let's get it together, let's be family here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like if you think about, at least in our religion, I don't think that some religions do this, but I don't think that all religions do this, especially since I know that most religions don't celebrate Christmas. But at least in our church, the actual celebration of Christmas is to remember Christ's birth, right? Which you don't. I know that I've seen this one YouTuber. What he talked about was, well, it wasn't necessarily a quiet or happy scene because the person had just given birth. So, but at the same time, then everybody's still happy though, if you think about it, right? In the midst of all this chaos, everybody's still happy that this amazing thing is coming into this world, right? And something that our ancestors celebrated Christmas for is bringing light back to the world, right? Because the days are finally starting to get longer. Because I'm pretty sure December 25th is the winter solstice, which means that the days are no longer becoming shorter. It means that there's more light.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
We all want more light in our lives, I feel, at this time of year, whether it be spiritually or, actual sunlight in our lives. But I kind of want to go back to what David was talking about. The whole giving birth, it might have not have been a happy experience for Mary, but I think about that a lot now that I've actually had a baby, and it was kind of a chaotic experience, but our little boy that we brought into this world, who's David's younger brother, he brings a lot of life and a lot of light into this world and into this family, and I just love how much his siblings adore him, and I feel like having a younger sibling, I didn't have a younger sibling, so I feel like maybe having a younger sibling for his 2 older siblings to love and adore on actually helps with the Christmas spirit. It helps make them think of someone besides themselves. Not that they're selfish or anything, but it makes them think more about the spirit of Christmas and what it's actually meant for, because they're thinking of someone else as well.
Yeah. And I know that my baby brother, he really I know that he brings a lot of light and life to my life, especially around Christmas time. And I know that he was an April baby, but like I still remember that every once in a while, especially during Christmas, just because I remember well, he's in this world now, and he's my family. He's another part of my family, and that's just an amazing thing to me. And I don't know. Christmas, Christmas, I think, should be celebrated in a happy way, not as, oh, I have to spend all this money, or oh, I have to break all my budgets, or I have to go into debt or something. No, if you feel like going into debt, if you feel like breaking a budget or two, fine on you, honestly. But at least me, and maybe that's just because I'm a little bit more mature now, I'm viewing Christmas, at least this year, as more so a celebration of family and a celebration of the people you're around and the people you're with, rather than just about the presents.
And maybe the gift of Christmas isn't necessarily about the gifts. Maybe it's just that gift of time that you get to be with those that you love.
Yeah.
I love that part of Christmas, is being able to be with those that I love and have them surround me and make me feel great.
Yeah.
But I love spending time with our family and being able to go and visit aunts and uncles and cousins and grandma and grandpas, because they bring in that Christmas spirit and that Christmas love as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know that we don't we don't see your family very much around the holidays, just because somebody's off doing something. But I mean, it applies the same way to your family, and honestly, I think it applies to everybody's family. Just be happy that everybody's together finally, even if you're not together. Maybe just call a relative. Call somebody you don't see every once in a while in your family, or even somebody that's not in your family, right? I just feel like Christmas is the perfect time to show other people that you're happy they're here, right? And you're happy they're brought into this world, and you're happy that they're your friend, I guess.
Christmas is a great time to be able to actually reach out to others and actually have a conversation with someone you haven't talked to in a long time. Like, I have a best friend, and we probably chat 2 or 3 times a year, and it's nice to not necessarily have an excuse to reach out to someone, but it does give you that excuse to reach out to people that you haven't maybe talked to all year round and just be like, hey, how's it going? Merry Christmas. Let's chat.
Yeah, exactly. It's great to just connect with people you don't usually connect with. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. I don't necessarily have a ton of friends here because I didn't grow up here in Idaho. I grew up in Oregon. And I do have those friends that I have here in Idaho. And I know I'm a horrible friend sometimes, and I just don't reach out as often as I should. But like we were talking about earlier, it's a great excuse to be able to reach out to those that I love and I actually care about. I just am horrible at reaching out to them otherwise. But it's great to be able to make those connections, and even make connections with people that you don't necessarily know. I mean, you're standing in line at Walmart with a bunch of Christmas presents, and someone's behind you, and someone makes a comment about what you're buying, and so you can just strike up a conversation about Christmas or about what they're doing for Christmas. And it's a great time of the year to be able to reach out to anyone, honestly, because everyone has that spirit of Christmas and giving. And I mean, there are some people that probably won't like that you're talking to them because they have a budget and they have a time schedule, but I mean, I feel like this time of year, lots of people, it's okay to like reach out and just be like, hey, what are you doing for Christmas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gives us the perfect excuse, right? Because it feels like we just need a reason to go up and talk to somebody. Because like during the summer, there's not really much of a reason to go talk to somebody, because they're just going to think, oh, they're just coming up to talk to me for some random reason, right? I don't know. It gives us a unified reason to talk to each other for once.
I agree. I don't know. I call it an excuse, but I like what you said better. I love that it gives you a reason to actually reach out and be a community and talk to those that are around you and stuff. I love that. That's great. Great way of saying that instead of an excuse.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, not necessarily. I love Christmas. It's like my favoriteest holiday ever.
Yeah, it's honestly a really good time. If you make it a good time, it's going to be a good time. I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
So with that, I'm David Bolander with our guest speaker today, and this was Random Radio signing off, and have a very, very Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all those good old holidays.